Hey everybody, Vale here with another Flosstube video for you. This is episode number 2. It has been about a month since I have recorded. I am so sorry about that. I love that I was originally going to try to do it weekly or bi-weekly, and neither of those panned out. So the most recent time I had been available to record was 2 weeks ago, and that weekend was Labor Day weekend, and I ended up having like a massive anxiety attack that weekend. It like destroyed my whole weekend. So the idea of recording anything, it just wasn't even a thing. And in fact, I ended up putting aside all of the cross stitch projects I had been working on and starting something new. So in this episode, I have 0 finishes to show you. I have 3 new starts to show you since the last video. So we're talking in the span of a month, which is not normal for me. And a bunch of progress to show for some projects that you saw last video. And then I have some stash. And some plans, of course. Who knows about the plans? If I can just maintain any kind of cross stitching, I'll be happy. So I just want to take a quick second to thank everybody who did check out my first video and either liked it or commented on it or subscribed. I really appreciate it. I love the Flosstube community. I've been watching people for a long time. It's always very motivating for me to watch what other people are working on. Even if it's not even my style, just seeing their progress and hearing them talk about what they're working on and what they hope to accomplish really just motivates me to work on my cross stitch. So thank you so much. Hopefully by the posting of this video, I will have caught up on commenting on folks' comments. So I appreciate your patience. So I did want to say that we are recording here 1 month later from Flosstube episode number 1. We're recording from sorry, I just got a message. We were recording from Phoenix, Arizona. It is about 87 degrees outside right now on this Sunday morning. It's supposed to reach about 98, I think, degrees Fahrenheit, which is a cool down from what it's been, which is awesome. However, it's supposed to go back up into the hundreds, I think, by Tuesday. So, we'll take what we can get, I guess. Yeah, so let's get into it. I do have one old finish to show that I had forgotten to pull out during my first, intro episode. This guy, he sits right next to my coffee maker in the kitchen. I designed this guy myself, and I mean, you can't really go wrong with coffee cats and world domination. So I love this piece. You can actually find the pattern for it on the Vale Stitchery website that I had mentioned earlier. I'll post that in the description below. But I just wanted to show this other finish to you because it's one of my favorites. It's pretty simple. And then we'll get into whips. So this is start 1 of 3. I decided very last minute to participate in a mystery sal being put on by Freudian Stitch. She's at Freudian Stitch on Instagram, and I don't have a picture of what all's been released. Part 3 was just released this morning, and I'm still on part 1. I'm on part 1, and that's where we're at, and I'm sorry it got super dark when I pulled this close. It's probably the white fabric, but it's going to fit an 8x10 frame, and this is 18 count white Aida. It's really fun to stitch. All the colors are very soft, nice colors. The quotes that Freudian Stitch is picking are just awesome. It's a really awesome sal. I'm really happy to be a part of it. I wish I could participate faster, but I knew going in that there's no way I would be able to keep up with it. It's just who I am as a person. I just really appreciate being part of the emails that come out every week and seeing what I get to stitch when I get to it. and it's super awesome. On Instagram, I've been following along with people who've been keeping up with it and their finish and their progress, and it's been great. So I'll post a link to that below since I don't have like an example of what's there. So it's at Freudian Stitch on Instagram. The next one I'll show you is a current whip that you have seen last time. It's, sorry about the glare. It's Vintage Bouquet number 4 by 2x2 Stitch Art on Etsy. It's this gorgeous floral display, and what I'm doing is I'm stitching it on 32 count Belfast, and I'm going to be turning it into a throw pillow and giving it as a gift. My goal to finish this was October 1st, which is in like 2 weeks, and I just have not gotten as much done as I would have expected, unfortunately. But we do have a lot done. Every time I pull this out, I'm like always shocked by like, I actually have a lot done on it. The last time you guys saw it, I don't know if I can, give me 1 second. The last time I had shown it, it was just from here up had been done. And then I worked down here and then over to this middle section. And this middle section is actually the most stitch dense part of the entire pattern. And then off to the side here are 2 more like partial pages since it's like a circular form. So, I mean, if I concentrated on it, I could definitely get it done on deadline, but I'll talk more about what actually has been grabbing my attention that I've wanted to stitch on, which is actually the next one in the pile. So 2 weeks ago when I had like a major anxiety attack, I had been fighting through it on the Saturday, but my brain was like going. And I was like switching through my projects, trying to find something to like break me out of it. And then on Sunday, it was the worst. And the idea of touching any of those projects that I had worked on the day before just made me feel ill. Like I couldn't, I was like the mental capacity was attached to those projects and I just couldn't do it. So by Sunday night, I had like purchased 3 new patterns off the internet, printed them all, went through my stash trying to find something that I could start on Sunday night. And after like 2 hours, I had started trying to like do conversions and like use what I had versus what was in the pattern. And I was like laying it out and I'm like, you know what? No, it doesn't look right. I mean, it would be passable, but it just didn't look right. And just no. So I set it all aside, and the next day was Monday, which was Labor Day holiday, and I took my big old long floss list, and I ended up purchasing like 164 skeins of floss from Hobby Lobby, which broke their computer. We actually had to figure out how, the quantity-wise, how far down they had to go and incrementally enter it because the computer wouldn't take 164 quantity. And then since they actually did not have all of the floss that I needed, I then hopped over to Michael's and purchased the rest. And that kitted up 2 large projects and a 3rd smaller project, but still full coverage in like an 8x10 space, I think. So on Monday, Labor Day, I started this. I don't have a picture of it printed out, but I did take a screenshot. Hopefully you'll be able to see. It's washed out, I apologize, but it is a map of the Super Mario World from the Super Nintendo video game. It's like a 506 by 506 square stitch area, which is patterned for like a 14 count, which would bring it to like a 36-inch square final piece. And I was like, to be fair, like it's not really my style, so if I'm going to be displaying something that large, it just would not make sense with the stuff that I have up. So I decided to pick out a 28 count even weave, and once again try my hand at doing 2 over 1/10 stitch to A, cut down on the amount of stitches I would need to do for this 506 by 506 stitch area, and B, the final size will be 18-inch square, which I think is much more manageable to put up on the wall. So I immediately started working on it. Oh, and just so you can see, like, this is all the floss for this project. It's like tons of skeins of the same color. Sadly, I still don't have all the blue I need. And in fact, what I'm about to show you today, I've already finished a skein of blue. So this is what I have done so far. That is starting in the top left corner. When I first started, I basically started from the corner and stitched my way over to that top, island, and then stitched the island, and it was just so satisfying. It was so satisfying to do the outline and then just fill it in. I did not have to think at all. I was just able to completely zone out, and it was exactly what I needed in that moment. And then what I've been doing is I've been doing like a length or two of blue, and then coming down here and doing something here, and then switching back and forth so that my stitchy bug does not drown in all of this water. Funnily enough, though, this weekend, I've actually stitched at least like 2,010 stitches of this, because it's just what I needed this weekend. It's just been incredibly enjoyable. And I'm so close to now finishing this page. Once I get through this blue right in here, I'm actually going to move the Q-snap so I can start working down here. I've basically stopped stitching in this area because I really want to move the Q-snap first. So seeing coming up on a page finish is just really motivating me to continue working on this. Just, oh my God, something about it. It's just hitting me right in the right spot. So that's Super Mario Map. That is start number 2 for this month. All of its floss. I just had to show that. Start number 3. So when I kitted up Super Mario World, remember I bought like 164 skeins plus what I purchased at Michael's, which was at least about 30 more. I also kitted up one of my mini HAEDs, which is Mini Watchmen, artwork by Lisa Parker. And there's just something about the moody blues and greens and grays in this piece that, like, I kept staring at the bag of floss I had for it, and all I wanted to do last week at night after work was bobbinate all of it. I just wanted to just touch the colors and see how they're going to blend together. And so by Thursday night, I had finished that, and of course, I immediately wanted to start it. And so for this one, for this mini, I really wanted to stitch it on 18 count, which I haven't done a full coverage piece on 18 count. But 18 count is like my sweet spot for the way stitches look. Like, I love the way stitches look on 18 count. So I made a start on this. I have done one column. And what's great about a mini versus a full-size HAED chart is that there are nice groupings of color, even though they would normally be crazy confetti in a normal chart. That's just, the blend of colors is not as, you don't have to concentrate as much, I've noticed. So this column took me 2 days to do, and it was 80 stitches down by 10 stitches over, so that's like 800 stitches in 2 days. That's not bad. Unfortunately, this was not in my plans. I mean, neither of these full coverage pieces were in my plans whatsoever. I was supposed to pay much more attention to Ex Machina before I started any other full coverage pieces. So I'm kind of disappointed in myself that I did that. But at the same time, I mean, cross stitching for me is a way to manage my anxiety, and if the piece I'm working on isn't doing it and something else will, then that's just how it's going to be. So there's that. I have no plans for that. I don't know. I will stitch on it when I feel like it, I guess. So the last whip I have here, of course, is Ex Machina, another Heaven and Earth Designs, artwork by Chris Ortega. I'm still in love with this piece. It's just my brain is still, when I look at the stitches of where I'm at right now, my brain still just thinks about anxious thoughts, which is really, really sucks. I'm in the top left corner, still trying to finish up that stained glass clock window. So let me show you that. You actually, sorry, the white is just, it gets super dark on here. So I love the way this is turning out. This is 22 count hardanger. It's going to be like a huge poster. It's like 23 inches by 28 inches or something like that, final size. But I still love this piece. I'm so close to a page finish, you guys. This is a 10-inch column, I mean a 10 square column, and then like a partial column. So I've been working it together. I'm so close. I could have finished this page by now if I had focused on this piece, but you know, whatever. It's fine. It'll get done. You are seeing two pieces of stash with this. I finally broke down, no, I didn't break down, but I finally went out and got an 8-inch by 17-inch, or no, an 11-inch by 17-inch Q-snap frame. I was really tired of how this piece was not really fitting in my 11-inch square Q-snap, and so I got this, and I love the real estate area available now. It's taken some getting used to holding it because I still haven't invested in a Lowry stand or anything like that, which is on my list. But at the moment, it's still nice to be able to see the entire piece so far, as opposed to just a portion of it. And then over here, my little needle minder is a red moon from Top Knot Stitcher, her shop. In fact, I purchased this. I went to her shop because for a different piece of stash, and I was like, you know what? I'm here and I need one of her moons. So I actually went to her shop to get these snips. They've got a kitty on them. Oh, it's upside down. Let me show you the kitty. They have a kitty on them, and they are rainbow, and I love them so much. Up until now, I've never had like a special pair of snips for my cross stitch. I've only ever used just basic craft scissors, so I felt no guilt in investing a little bit in myself. So I went to her site. I saw that she posted these on Instagram. I immediately went to her shop and purchased a pair. And when I did so, I got the red moon. And then when they came in the mail, she had sent me this cute little butterfly needle minder along with them as a bonus. And so I use this one with my flower bouquet because it goes really well with the colors. So those are two stash pieces. So that's all my whips. Oh, I was going to say there was something else on my phone that I was going to show you guys, but it's because it's part of plans, which we're not at yet. Let's talk about stash, or as I like to say, the confession section, because I don't need stash. I have so many things going on that will take me years to finish. But, so you have my notions purchase. The third pattern that I had purchased during my freak out that I have not started, and I do not have plans to start right now since I have started plenty, is the Welcome to Hogsmeade sign by Country Magic Stitch on Etsy. I love all of their like travel advertising poster items. I have like the Mordor one favorited and the Rivendell one favorited. There's a Star Wars one, like Tatooine. Welcome to Tatooine. Like I have all these favorited. I would love to have like a section on my wall just for these items. Also because they're they have huge groups of color, so you definitely, it's just, you have to be in that mental space of wanting to basically color in as opposed to really paying attention and having to count. So I already have one like that. The Super Mario map is super like brain dead pattern, and I think I can only handle one at a time. So that'll be for future, but I did kit it up. When I bought like 200 skeins of floss 2 weeks ago, I also kitted that one up. So the last bit of stash, oh no, I have more, never mind. But the next section of stash is this is actually, I forgot that I had these, which tells you how terrible it is. But at the beginning of the school year, which was, I don't know, 7-8 weeks ago now, I had to go on Amazon to buy my son a book for one of his classes. And while I was on Amazon, I was like, I will just look and see what kind of cross-stitch stuff they have. I hadn't looked in a while. And so I ended up buying 3 Dimensions kits. I already have a Dimensions kit that I started recently as far as Dimension kits are concerned, because when I first started cross stitching back in the day, like Dimensions kits were what I started with. But there are so many other things out there now that Dimensions is not on the top of my list. But anyway, I was on Amazon, and three ended up coming home with me, and I apologize for the glare. But I love this as far as like a wintry kind of holiday scene. The way the tree glows, I love it so much. It's called Woodland Glow, designed by Russell Cobain. I love that. I can see myself in December wanting to stitch this. Since I live in Phoenix, Arizona, it does not snow here. It never looks like winter here. So in winter, I actually like working on wintry things because it makes me feel more, it gets me more into the holiday mood. The same way with like fall, like autumn, it never looks like autumn here ever. It's desert all year round. Nothing changes. If I want to see autumn, I have to go north. Which brings me to the second one, which is an autumn one. I love this. My only gripe about this is that it's on like this ivory type Aida, and I think I would love to do this on like a light green, some sort of green fabric, to like soften up the background a little bit. Or maybe like more of a tan, I don't know, but definitely not the Aida it came with. I'm actually thinking I would love to do some kind of linen or even weave or something. So this would require more stash, which means it's not coming out this year. I have way too much going on. And then the last one is another wintry project. I've been looking at these cardinals for a couple of years now, and I would love to actually turn this into a pillow and give it as a gift to someone perhaps. Or maybe perhaps make my living room a little wintry in the winter. But I've been looking at this for a while, and so went on Amazon, buy things. So those are 3 kits that I've had for, over a month. I think I actually had them when I did my first video and forgot to show them during stash. So the last bit of stash I have to show you is some fabric that I bought from 123 Stitch. I originally went on there to buy a 40 count country mocha linen because I wanted to utilize this for the Christmas ornaments that I want to do this year, which I don't know if I'm actually going to get those done. I honestly don't know. Part of the problem I'm having this past month with my cross stitch is that the moment I'm putting deadlines on myself, the moment I start putting pressure on myself to get certain things done in a certain manner by a certain deadline, it causes stress. Because the cross stitch is supposed to be the one outlet to take me out of stress. Work is stressful. Being a parent is stressful. My home life is a bit stressful. Cross stitch is supposed to be relaxing. So the moment I've been putting deadlines on things, it makes me not want to do it. So honestly, I will cross stitch on whatever I feel like, and I will try not to feel guilty about it, and whatever. It's fine. I still think doing the Christmas ornaments is an awesome idea. It's just I feel like I'm taking on too much trying to do 10 to 12 ornaments and finishing them all and getting them shipped to where they need to go by Christmas this year. I think that I'm just taking on too much. So, but I love this 40 count. This 40 count country mocha. It feels good. I think I'm going to really enjoy stitching on it. I have worked on 40 count a little bit in the past, but only on a very small project. So I think working on this is just going to be so, so fun. So you can see. Um, Unfortunately, I have been designing a new pattern, which would look, which I need to stitch on something like this. So the longer I drag my feet about whether I'm going to actually do the Christmas ornaments, the greater probability that this fabric will get stolen by another project. But at least I know that this is great fabric. I will definitely purchase more. Um, yeah. And then I bought some 18 count Confederate gray. Um, Unfortunately, it's not as dark as I wanted, and it is a little bit bluer than I wanted. So what I actually originally purchased this for, I don't think I'm going to be able to use it. Not that I need to start anything new, but the reason I purchased it while I was buying fabric was for a project that I don't think is going to work on this. But you know what would look great on this is I feel the Welcome to Hogsmeade might look nice on that. So we'll see. And then I purchased two small pieces of fabric by Picture This Plus because I just wanted to see what they would look like. I am anticipating starting a long dog sampler next year. We'll see. I mean, they're on my wish list. I want to do Templar Prophecy, which actually a couple people have started recently, and I'm super jealous. I think Spartan Stitcher has started it, and someone else. Crap. I don't know. Two people I follow on Instagram have started it recently, but so Templar Prophecy, and then also the Pilgrim. I love the Pilgrim. So eventually I want to do both of them. But anyway, so I ended up getting this. It's greener in person. It's very splotchy. It's very green. It's Herald on 18 count. Again, 18 count is my favorite. My only issue, I haven't purchased much dyed fabric before. Most of the dyed fabric I have purchased is by Picture This Plus. And I've noticed that if you get Aida, I don't know what it's like with like even weave or linen, but when you get Aida by them, it's incredibly floppy. Like it doesn't hold tension very well in a hoop or a Q-snap. And it shrinks, which I know a lot of fabric shrinks during the dyeing process, but to the point where the holes are difficult to see, let alone use. So I don't know. Like this color is really cool. I'm thinking of doing the pattern called Death Before D-Stash by Wild Violet on this fabric. I think it would look really great. It's just straight up black silhouettes with this green in the background. I think that would look great. And the other one I wanted to test out, which I love this color so much, it's Mystic by Picture This Plus on 18 count again. It's not showing up as blue. Now this one's showing up more green. It's more blue. It's like a matte dark blue. I don't know how else to explain it, but it is gorgeous. I would definitely use this for a long dog sampler with like an ecru with an ecru or like a DMC 415 or something like that, I could see that on this. So I don't know what I'm going to use this smaller sample for. So this is just stash fabric now. Um, that's all my stash. So whips, stash, plans. Um, my plans are just to stitch whatever I feel like stitching. I see Super Mario World in my future. Um, I definitely need to work more on the vintage flower bouquet, but because it feels like an obligation, I don't want to work on it, so we'll see. Um, I'm currently stitching up a model of a new pattern for the Vale Stitchery pattern shop. It's another Dungeons and Dragons pattern. I don't want to show it yet because it's a little different than what I've done in the past, and I just want to make sure it's coming out okay. Um, Again, if I would work on that, like I could easily finish it if I focused on it for like 3 days, but I haven't been. I've been all over the place. Um, I would love to do more on mini Watchmen. I've really, really, really been enjoying that. That one column over like 2 days was just, it was so nice. It was really enjoyable. Um, so yeah, I think I will just be working on whatever I feel like and hopefully not starting anything new. I think that will be my main goal is just not starting anything new. So if I can continue working on any of the projects I have shown you today, I will take that as a win. Um, as far as recording next, I am recording on a new machine, so that's good. That makes it easier. Hopefully I won't, it should be easier to upload doing it the way I'm doing it now. So I'm hoping that 2 weeks from now, when I have another day by myself in the apartment, I will be able to just start doing bi-weekly recordings. So that's my goal. Um, Other than that, I think we're good. So I just want to thank you so much for hanging out with me and watching my video. I hope that I did not express like too much anxiety on you guys. Cross stitching is supposed to be my happy place, so we will work on that. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. You guys are awesome. I hope you guys have a great week, 2 weeks, whatevs. I hope that the weather is cooling off wherever you are and that you are having awesome stitchy adventures. Thank you guys. Bye.